Welcome to the Explainer. Today we are taking a highly relatable piece of internet culture and totally breaking it down. We're going to reveal the harsh and honestly kind of hilarious reality of the data analytics learning curve. Let's be real. If you're an aspiring data professional, you've definitely felt the temptation we're about to look at.
Okay, let's dive right into this brilliantly absurd image. We've got this character, labeled Today's Data Analyst Aspirants, performing this massive, literally gravity-defying physical stretch. I mean, look at the sheer determination here. They are attempting to bypass an entire staircase of rigorous, absolutely essential skills just to rest their foot on that single glowing top step labeled dashboards. It's a hilarious visual, right? But it actually cuts pretty deep, because it perfectly represents human nature. We all want that flashy result without the unglamorous grind.
To climb this staircase conceptually, we've grouped these steps into 4 distinct phases. First, the dashboard shortcut. Second, the foundation steps. Third, the analytical middle. And finally, the final presentation.
Section 1. The dashboard shortcut. The illusion.
So the immediate joke here is that overwhelming desire to just jump straight to the flashy finish line. In the aspirant's dream path, you just start out and boom, immediately you're building complex dashboards. But if you look at the massive physical gap between that planted foot and the top stair, well, it really highlights the sheer void between our expectations and reality. You have to go through Excel, SQL, data cleaning, the whole shebang.
Now, notice the glowing effect radiating from the dashboard's text. That golden halo perfectly captures why so many people try to skip the foundation. Dashboards are shiny, they're highly visual, and hey, they get executive praise. But that glow literally blinds aspirants to the dark, difficult grind happening on the steps below.
Section 2. Foundation Steps, the repetitive grind.
If we look really closely at the text on those bottom stairs, we notice a stark, repetitive pattern that perfectly mirrors the real-world daily grind of data preparation. Starting at the very bottom, we have Excel. Then we step up to SQL. Then data cleaning. And then, if you look at the next 2 steps up, wait, it's SQL again, and data cleaning again? This isn't a typo by the artist, it's actually a profound statement about the reality of the work.
The truth is, before analyzing anything, you've absolutely got to master these fundamental hurdles just to organize your raw data. You start with Excel basics, just to understand simple rows and columns. Then you upgrade to SQL, learning to actually pull specific data out of massive relational databases. Finally, you hit data cleaning, formatting, deduplicating, and fixing the countless frustrating errors hiding in those datasets.
As we just saw, the artist deliberately repeated SQL and data cleaning twice on these stairs. This highlights that data prep is not a straight climb where you learn something once and, graduate. It's actually a frustratingly repetitive loop that you really have to get comfortable with. You write a query, you pull the data, you clean it, and then you realize there's another hidden error. So what do? You have to go back, write a better SQL query, and clean it all over again. The entire foundation of your career is built on this exact repetition.
Section 3. Analytical middle. Data becomes insight. Okay, so once we finally escape the repetition of data cleaning, we arrive at the intellectual meat of the staircase. Sandwiched right in the middle sits EDA, or exploratory data analysis. This crucial phase represents the major pivot from merely fixing data to actually investigating it. This is where you use statistics to discover hidden patterns and spot anomalies before you ever attempt formal modeling.
These 2 middle stairs, EDA for exploration and statistics for validation, are where the real value of an analyst is forged. This is where raw, clean numbers are finally transformed into reliable insights. Think about it. You explore to find a trend, and then you use statistics to mathematically prove that the trend isn't just some random fluke.
This transition really highlights 2 entirely different mindsets. The bottom stairs represent preparing the data, while the middle stairs represent understanding it. Bypassing this analytical middle practically guarantees that any dashboard you build later will completely lack mathematical rigor. It's exactly like building a beautiful house on a foundation of sand. It's just going to collapse.
Section 4. Final presentation. Adding context.
We are finally nearing the top of our climb, approaching the steps that make all this rigorous work relevant to the outside world. Look at the specific progression here. Business understanding naturally leads to visualization, which finally compiles into dashboards. This hierarchy is totally intentional, because, simply put, you cannot visualize what you do not understand.
I'd argue that skipping the business understanding stair is the most dangerous stretch of all. Why? Because it leads to solving problems the business doesn't actually have.
You could have flawless SQL, pristine data, and brilliant statistical models, but a beautiful dashboard without business understanding is just a useless, glowing screen. Seriously, if your work doesn't answer the specific questions your stakeholders are asking, your entire climb was for absolutely nothing.
Looking at the complete picture again, we see the true comedy and the harsh reality check of this whole thing. The aspirant's leg stretch is physically impossible. You can literally see them awkwardly leaning on the handrail just to maintain their balance. And just as this physical stretch is impossible, skipping these 9 foundational skills is professionally impossible. There are no shortcuts. You simply cannot cheat the staircase, because every single step supports the weight of the step above it.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought as you continue your own learning journey, whether that's in data analytics or literally any other complex field. Look back at the steps we've covered today and ask yourself, which step on the data staircase are you secretly trying to skip? Be totally honest with yourself, because mastering the steps you hate the most is exactly what makes you a true expert.